Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today I'd like to introduce the concept of radians versus degrees. Now we are very familiar with degrees as a measure of angles. So we talk about 30-degree angles, 45-degree angles, 90-degree angles, etc., right? And the circle we know is 360 degrees. Radians is another way of expressing angles. Now let's say you had some friends over and then you bought a pizza. And you wanted to cut the pizza some very special way. So what you did was you measured the radius of this pizza. And then you took that and then you cut the pizza based on that. So you took one radius worth of slice over here and then you cut out this slice over here like this. That's a very special slice because the radius of the slice over here and the arc length of the slice over here is the same. 1 radian, in fact, is the angle that's created by an arc whose length is radius. When an arc creates an angle, it is said to subtend the angle. The arc is intercepted by the angle, and the arc creates an angle or subtends an angle. So 1 radian is the angle that's created or subtended by an arc whose length is the radius. Now let's say you kept going like this and you wanted to create another slice for a friend based on the radius again. So you took the radius of the circle and measured this over here like this, going this way, and you made another slice over here. And then you went on and you made another slice over here. That's 3 slices so far. And then you better not run out of pizza here, right? So here's another slice over here. And then you notice that if you did this, you have about 6 slices, which are exactly the radius in size and its arc length. And then you would have a little bit left over here. So here's the final one over here. So you have cut out basically 6 of them. But then there's a little bit of the pizza slice left. Maybe you take that for yourself because you're such a nice person, right? So this one is left. So you have had 6 slices. That's one of them over here. That's second one over here. That's the third one over here. That's fourth one over here. And there's fifth one over here. And sixth one over here. And a tiny bit left, okay? So in a circle, there's 6 slices that are the same size, in angle, if the radius is used as the measure of the arc length. And that's very understandable, because we know that the circumference of a circle is 2 times pi times r. And pi is approximately 3.14, right? So approximately 3.14. So 2 times 3.14 is 6.28 times r. So in a circumference, there are approximately 6 radiuses. That's what that means, basically. Circumference is 6 times the radius plus a little bit more. So what's left over here is, in fact, like 0.28 of the radius. In fact, therefore, if 1 radian is defined as this angle over here, there will be 6.14 radians in here. There'll be 6 of those angles in there. So how many exactly? Exactly would be 2 pi, because that's this exact measurement, the 6.28 blah blah blah. So in 360 degrees, there are a little over 6 of these. There are a little over 6 of these. In fact, there is 2 pi radians. That's 6.28 of those angles. Okay. So in 360 degrees, there are going to be 6.28 or 2 pi radians. That's how many angles are going to be, 2 pi radians. Okay. Now, radians does not have any symbols like 3. So you can write this as 360 degrees, right? There's no equivalent symbol. There's no like triangle or something like that for radians. So 360 degrees is 2 pi radians. That's the conversion factor. In 180 degrees, you'll have as much, or pi radians. Now, I tend to remember this. In 360s, there are 2 pi radians. Some people like to remember that. They're both just fine. So I tend to remember this. Okay, so 360 degrees is 2 pi radians, or in 180 degrees is pi radians. Okay. How many radians is 120 degrees? How many radians is 120 degrees? So you have 120 degrees, but now we know what the conversion factor is, right? The conversion factor is right over here. There's, in 360 degrees, there's 2 pi radians. Degrees go over here, right? And I can simplify this, right? 120 goes in there 3 times. So it's 2 pi over 3. If you simplify this, you get that many radians. So 120 degrees is 2 pi over 3 radians. Okay, let's do another one. How about 90 degrees? Well, 90 degrees, okay, how many radians is that? Okay, well, 360 degrees is 2 pi radians, right? Degrees cancel out, right? And if you do the math, or if you simplify this, now it's going to be pi over 2 radians, okay? So 9 goes at 4 like this, and then 2 goes into 1, 2 like that, okay? So 90 degrees is pi over 2 radians. Now you can go backwards too, okay? How about pi over 6 radians? How many degrees is that? Well, you still have to use the conversion factor, okay? 2 pi radians is 360 degrees, right? So 2 pi radians is 360 degrees. So the radians cancel over here, all right? And then the pi's cancel. Thanks very much. 6 goes into 1, 60 over here. And 2 goes into 1, that's 30. So this would be 30 degrees. So pi over 6 radians is 30 degrees. So the conversion factor is the following. 360 degrees, 2 pi radians, or 180 degrees is pi radians. This was an introduction to radians. Until next time, as-salatu wa-salamu ala rasulillah, walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum.